I could not be more excited than to share with you Ellen Rohr, who I got to meet recently at an event, and her story and her passion for helping people kind of do well in business is kind of legendary to me. So I am excited to be sharing it with my audience today. Ellen, thanks for joining me.
Hey, I'm so excited and I'm completely starstruck by you. It was great to spend some time together, and you just know your stuff. I learned a lot. I felt like it was $1 million day. So thank you
Well,
so
that's very
much
kind of you. The fact
for
of the matter is, you've made a lot of people a lot of money because of
yeah.
your, I think, inquisitive nature, your ability to take on things. And so, let's talk a little bit about your journey and where you are in business building.
Well, I got started in this business once upon a time. My husband, when he was 33 years old, his best friend and partner died and literally worked himself into an early grave. He was a guy who was a worrier. He didn't take care of himself. They had a plumbing, heating, and solar company, and he was just the kind of guy who would get worked up. And lo and behold, one week he works himself to the hospital. He ends up dying at 33. And and I bring this up because it was a pivotal moment for all of us. I realized none of this is worth that. As people get involved, you probably know, I know we have over the years sacrificed our health and relationships for our business. It's never worth that. And that was really the moment I always go back to remind us of that as we get started. So I went to work with my husband. I thought it would be easy. I'm a smart chick. I have a degree in business administration. I had a ton of experience, lots of jobs. I was working for a cool company. I quit my real job. I go work for my husband, and it's awful. We fight. We don't have any money. We don't know where we are. And I am creative and easily distractible, and I have no interest in trying to figure out the financial side of my business. Are you with me so far?
Yep, as
Right?
many people are, to be honest with you. I mean,
Yeah.
you're not in a solo boat here.
No, and I fought it. Like, why can't someone else do this for me? Why do I have to do it? That's what accountants are for. Well, the reality is, number one, I didn't have any money to hire someone to do it for me. My accountant I barely saw because I rarely paid her. And two, it was my money. Finally, I found a mentor who really impressed this on me. I wrote a letter to a guy who wrote an article in Plumbing and Mechanical magazine. I'm sure you subscribe.
Right here, let me look for it in my office. Where did I put it?
But like every industry has trade magazines and has experts who share how they got rich, how they got big, all that. And our industry is no different. So I find this guy in a magazine, I write him a letter, and I do what lots of people do. I reach for help and then tell this guy in my letter all the reasons why what he's suggesting in his article about raising my prices, about, making more money, all that won't work for me. All right. So I make a reach for help and then instantly discount any help that is being offered. I bring this up too because when I talk like a know-it-all, I want you to know I've made every mistake I make fun of my clients and my friends for. I've done it all. So anyway, I wrote him a letter. He calls me up, and this guy literally tells me where my head is. The guy from the magazine article calls my office, and his first words are, "Honey, you have your head," and he tells me where my head is. So yes. And so that, sometimes you need a feather, sometimes you need a brick. Apparently I needed a brick, someone to reach out to me and just say, you got to get your act together here. He said, you're losing money, you're going into debt, save yourself, save your family, and shut the business down, is what he told me. I hung up on him. And the next day, crying, I cry easily, but I cried. I called him back. And I said, just please help me. I'm laid low. I'm humbled. I don't know what to do. I will take direction. And so in your life, there's going to be moments where help will find you. And if it takes 2 or 3 shots, that's okay. That's what happened to me. And this mentor taught me what I continue to teach day in and day out, which is how to read a balance sheet, how to read a profit and loss, how to keep score in the game of business. It's your money and you should know. And that piece of information, that skill set has changed my life.
Wow.
has changed my
And I
life.
think that is such a missing skill set. I mean, it's almost something you don't want to admit to in business. Like, I'm running a business. I think I'm profitable. I look every once in a while. But really being able to track it and be able to be in real time and understand that and make sane business decisions from this place of knowledge really is
Right.
empowering.
And it in many ways, it helped me. One way, I think it saved my marriage, because up until that point, I would say to my husband, we don't have enough money. And he would hear, I'm not good enough. I'm not working hard enough. And we would fight because I didn't have anything to show him. I didn't have any reality to present. These are the stats. And so this is a skill set I had to develop. And I learned how to clean up our financials. I had once I even remember this moment, Joseph, where I just went, okay, I'll do it. Like I can still remember that visceral feeling of just accepting the responsibility, this awful job of I'll figure it out. I'll learn how to use, my accounting system. And once I got over myself, none of it was hard. I'm like, it was so Emperor's New Clothes. Like, why was I making such a big deal out of it? It's kind of fun. It's like Sudoku or a crossword puzzle. It's not complicated. It's just like, if you are speaking Spanish and I don't speak Spanish, I'm going to feel stupid. I'm not stupid. I just don't know the vocabulary and the language. And so a big part of it was learning to, what are the words, assets, liability, equity, vehicular depreciation. I sat side by side with bookkeepers and other business owners and my beloved accountant who finally said, well, it's about time you got interested in this. And she helped me learn this. So I would have given my right arm for a book I ended up writing called Where Did the Money Go? And it's accounting basics for the business owner who wants to get profitable. And in this book, it's skinny. It has pictures, examples from QuickBooks. It's nothing sexy, but it describes what a balance sheet is, what a profit and loss is, how you keep score, what double entry accounting is. Fun fact, Luca Pacioli, who is BFFs with Leonardo da Vinci, figured out the balance sheet equation in the Renaissance in the 1400s. And assets equals liabilities plus equity hasn't changed one jot since then. It's the same in I'm getting goosebumps, in every language, in every dollar. Like, these basics are like biology. They're just true. So when you know this, all of a sudden, like for me, the world opened up. Every business operates this way. It can be plumbing. It could be, artwork. It can be anything. It can be consulting. And this scorecard is going to work. Like my whole world opened up as I figured this out. So the one thing was getting to a known financial position. And then once I didn't like where I was. And a lot of my clients and friends and associates and franchisees, they're going to discover this too. You get the scorecard right. What do you have? What do you owe? What do you own? What do you have for sales and expenses? And you don't like it. It could be better. It's pathetic. It's worse than you thought. Maybe it's not. But now you know. How do you change it? Well, you put a little plan together. You change your thoughts and behaviors. You decide, well, I'm at 500,000 in sales. What about $1 million? And you make it up. That's budgeting. And then you think about things that you could do that would change the score. Like this is a lot of what you do. That's why it resonated with me.
Well, but let's not talk about me. Let me kind of just hit on a couple things you said till now. Right now I'm sitting here thinking, she's really talking a lot about growth mindset. She adopted a growth mindset that said, I'm not going to be intimidated by this stuff. I'm not going to be the way I've always been. I'm going to embrace this new opportunity. I'm going to make it into crossword puzzle land for me, and I'm going to get good at it. And I was at an event on growth mindset the other day because I was speaking at a strategic planning thing, and this speaker was really good. And she started talking about, she went to some course like on drawing on the right side of the brain, where she had been always told her whole life she couldn't draw. Most of us freak out if we ever had to draw something in public. But she did this intensive workshop for a weekend, and these workshops make you Leonardo da Vinci. I mean, much closer to them than the way you were when you go in. And the question becomes, how much could we all do if we just really applied ourselves and got through some of that negative thinking? And when it comes to business, the starting point is to be willing to say, I don't have it all. I need to grow. Where do I go for resources? So your book is one resource. I know your coaching is going to be another resource. So I want to position people for that expectation. But the thing that I'm also taking away is that a lot of times we overcomplicate these things. And if we can help people gain access in normal language, not make this to be a business school course, but how do you really talk about budgeting in the way you just did? Or how do you talk about accounting in a way that doesn't scare the bejesus out of people? And, I think it's hard enough to run a business. You don't have to overcomplicate some of the basics. So I'm just loving this. I want to kind of keep going. I know you're at the point where you've kind of budgeted. We've done a real true assessment of our financial state, and we're kind of budgeting. We're setting some projections and some goals.